your thrifty apprentice. Happy Friday, everyone. In today's video, we are taking a look at the Castle Art 48 Premium Soft Touch Metallic Pencils. Now, a week and a half or maybe 2 weeks ago, I posted a video which was a review redo, in which I showed you guys a lot of products that I still had in my arsenal that I needed to open and do field tests on and research for review, and I gave you the option to vote on which one of those products you wanted to see first or second or third, and so on and so forth. So it just so happens that with all of the votes that did come in, the Castle Art 48 Premium Soft Touch Metallic Pencils received the most votes from the viewers. So with that said, welcome back to another thrifty review. Castle Art 48 Premium Soft Touch Metallic Pencils, a set of high quality, high pigmented artist grade metallic pencils in a range of vibrant colors. It has a beautiful illustration of sort of a rainbowish tiger on the front of the tin. It is so gorgeous to me. And then of course we have a user guide and tutorial included in the kit. Oh, that's pretty cool. Let's flip this over on the back. I am holding this at an angle, guys, so there won't be reflection of the studio lights and setup. Castle Art 48 Premium Quality Metallic Pencils. This deluxe set of 48 premium soft touch metallic pencils has silky smooth, velvety soft lids with a large crayon, of permanent color, offering both density and opacity. The non-toxic pencils have been named, numbered, and color-coded for instant recognition. The tactical soft touch finish and quality wood casing allow for ease of maneuverability and sharpening. I do not have my glasses on. You guys have no idea how blurry those words are, and I have no idea where they are. They're not sitting around me. This extensive range of deluxe metallic pencils can easily be layered, shaded, and blended, delivering endless possibilities bounded only by your imagination. There we go. That's what this says, I think, for as much as I could see it. There is a swatching, digital swatching here, I'm assuming, of what pencils are inside the tin. There's the website, hashtag Castle Art for you to include in any of the artwork you do with Castle Art products that you should produce or post. Castle Art Supply LLC, it gives the address. They are in Wyoming, Sheridan, Wyoming. Nice. So US based. There's a UPC code. It lets you know that they're non-toxic. They do conform to the ASTM D4236 regulation. They are not for kids under the age of, from 0 to 3. So I guess under the age of 4. They are made in China. And then there's the Castle Art Supply All Rights Reserved logo. And that is the tin. It's actually a pretty healthy, heavy tin. Now, I'm going to go ahead and pop the plastic off. Hopefully that's going to help to alleviate some of the reflection and the shine. Not much, just some. But we can go ahead and get this open. Then I can pop the tin open and we can take a look on the inside. So that's a little bit better with the reflection because it's more matte. But that's a very nice tin. I really, really like that. Really nice. So my tin is a little, I thought I felt a dent. I thought I felt it a little indented, but maybe not. Maybe that was just the plastic. Okay, let's pop the tin open here. We got a nice latch. It's a soft, quiet close. I like that. That lets you know it's a pretty nice quality tin. I could do that all day. Okay. On the inside of the tin, now I am going to move out just a little bit. So the lighting will change just a bit. So here on the inside of the tin, we have Castle Club. Would you like your drawings featured on our website? Join the Castle Club to show off your masterpiece and get special member details on all of your products. Go to castleart.com page club and join today. Tiger symbolism stands for strength, fearlessness, and prowess. In some what does that say? Hold on. In some cultures and religions, tigers are spirit keepers and representative of various deities. These majestic beasts, when not hunting, remain calm and still as if presiding from their lair, surveying the kingdom. I'm sorry about that, guys. I promise the next, before I read anything else, I'm going to grab my glasses. Here we have a full range of the pencils included. Is given a little color swatch indication. Is giving the number that corresponds with their line, and then it gives the name for each pencil here. Now, I'm not sure if that's the order that they're in the tin, but we'll see about that in just a moment. There are some pamphlets and papers included inside. We have a swatch sheet here. That is definitely not sketch paper or pastel paper. That's a cardstock. No doubt about it. That's definitely a cardstock type paper. That's included in here for swatching. It is labeled with the number and each color name. Again, I'm not sure if it's in order just yet. It looks to be in order with the way they're laid out on the tin. So let's see if that's the same for the way the pencils are laid out. Okay, so color and product guide, taking your art to the next level. We have a very beautiful comprehensive brochure here. Oh, wow. Okay, so there is a complete color swatching code here. Okay, so this map shows the colors that they offer in the pencil line, and then it gives a a certain color indication for that, and then the colors that are offered in the paint line, and it gives a certain color indication for that, and a certain shape indication. So basically what you could do is cross-reference to see like what colors would be in a certain pencil set or what colors would be in a certain paint set if you wanted to kind of combine them together. Let me see what I mean. For instance, like 019, I think that says coral, comes in the color pencil set, the watercolor pencil set, the woodless watercolor pencil set, the color pencil gold range, which I actually have that range. We're going to eventually get to that. It comes in the watercolor paint tubes. It comes in the gouache paint tubes. It comes in the acrylic paint tubes and the oil paint tubes. So you can get that, you can cross-reference that color across many different sets and mediums. So like if you wanted to buy cross-reference, so you can buy a color pencil set that you can use as accents on top of your watercolor or your gouache. You can cross-reference what colors would be in those sets, which I think that is really, really cool. I like that. I like that a lot. And of course, the pencils we're looking at today are the metallic pencils, and they're indicated by a red square. So all of the colors that have a red square would be the complete range of metallic pencils. Now, I'm not sure if it's only 48 of them or if it's more. We'll have to look that up for the review section of this video. But with that said, let's get on through the unboxing. But I really like this color map. And see, the opposite side of this brochure is just showing just some other supplies that they offer, giving a little information about that, which is really cool. On this side here, we have just, more information. This shows all of the, okay, so here we go. So the metallic pencils only come in a 48 range. So this is the complete range of metallic pencils. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I'll read some more into that. And if there's some relevant information that I need to pull to talk about with these pencils, I'll do that for the review. Castle Arts create a metallic pencil illustration of a tiger in 6 easy stages. So here, again, the complete range of 48 metallic pencils swatched out, numbered, and named. This brochure is pretty much kind of showing what the other one did as far as the other product range and the information that it gives on those. That little thing about the tiger being the spirit keeper is here. Let's see, on the opposite side, again, a complete list of all the products they offer. And on the inside is step-by-step instructions on how to illustrate the tiger on black paper with the pencils. Interesting. So, and it even in step 1 even tells you to start by tracing down the tiger. So they're encouraging tracing. Okay. So maybe you go to like a website and print it out. I'll have to look into that a little bit more. I didn't see any QR codes, so maybe it's in some of the print. Moving on. Metallic pencils. Take your art to the next level. There's a lot of brochures in here. There's a lot of literature to read. And this seems to be specifically about the metallic pencils. And it looks to be like a lot of information. Pencil care, sharpening your pencils, the pencils at a glance, holding your pencils, surfaces to use it on. The metallic color palette, mastering your strokes, layering color chart, blending, burnishing, a perspective drawing, blue-eyed tiger tutorial is on page 14. I'm just curious if it's a website you go to print that out. You can download the template from Castle Art's website. There. Yep, figured as much. Okay. Glossary, and then join Castle Art. So again, this is information specifically about the metallic pencil. It breaks down the casing, the soft touch, the crayon, or the actual pigment stick on the inside. What they went through about naming and numbering it, the universal. This is like a dictionary on the pencils. It goes through different ways to hold them, so it's giving drawing tips. This is really good for beginners. I think this would be really, really good for beginners, guys. As far as the literature goes, I'm not sure how the pencils perform yet, but as far as the information included in here, and access to a template so that you will have a lesson to actually use with, I think that is really cool. I like that idea. That overall packaging and branding of this set is pretty airtight, I would have to say. And I can tell you that before I even get to the review. I'm pretty impressed with the branding. The booklets are they're really nice quality. Like, they're not flimsy. The pages are kind of thick there for a brochure. It goes through blending and burnishing. Light or dark paper, how the metallic works on it, which it shows that they work beautifully on white or dark paper. And of course, we're going to be testing it out to see throughout our field testing, which all of this for you guys is going to happen in one video, but it's going to take me several days to get all of this done. So yeah, okay, we have another one here you can do. You can do the sea eagle. So you can do a blue-eyed tiger. They give you a template for a sea eagle, and it's almost like that number and paint type thing, but there's no numbers on it. You just have to kind of follow the steps, which I really love printed book steps like this. I think, you know, we're going away from that. Everything is video tutorial or vlog now. So I think that's where I love that. We have a layout here. This seems just with thin film plastic. It's got the Castle Art logo engraved in gold there. And here we have 2 trays of really beautiful pencils. Actually, I love the way they look. I love the fact that they include these little ropes on the trays, because the trays are typically really flimsy, so that makes it much easier to pick them up and grab them. Oh, okay, they're thinking for us. I'm sure they've watched somebody's video where they saw somebody put tape on the end of that in order to make a handle, and they say, you know what, let's solve that. I mean, I'm sure it didn't cost too much more to produce the tray with this string, and it's nice quality string too. It's not flimsy. So we have 48 pencils here, and they're thick. They all seem to be rolling pretty cool. Don't seem to have any misshapen ones as of right yet. Right off the bat, lead seem cool. Let's just take a look at a pencil. We're not going to jump too deep into it. So we have a tritone, 3 colors here. We have a silver, a white dividing it from the color swatch, which is supposed to be indicative of the lead, which we will get a chance to test and see. A little dust there. The wood seems pretty sturdy. Smells like maybe a basswood. Not sure. Not heavy at all. Pretty easy to grip. It has Castle's Art logo on it. There is the name imprinted. This particular one is Burgundy Rose. On the swatch, you're going to get the number and then the set initial. For instance, this particular Burgundy Rose color number is 14, and it's from MT, the metallic set. So that's the pencil. There is, as of right now, no light fast information present that I've seen on the packaging, in any of the included brochures, or on the pencils. I will do more research before we get to the review section of this video in order to see if that information is present in the literature and I just missed it, or if it's present on the website so that it can be sourced. Yes, we're going to get to all of that. Does it classify these? Okay, it classifies them as premium. Now, the thing is, especially when it comes to budget companies, whenever you see the word premium, it's typically indication that it's a student grade product. That's been my experience, especially when it's companies that may white label their products. Now, I don't know, yeah, because this company is headquartered in Wyoming, from what we saw, and we saw that they're made in China, so they're definitely white labeling these from a factory in China. But again, pretty handsome pencil. We're going to get a chance to swatch them out and see what's what. So that's the unboxing. Pretty straightforward. How the pencils look, what's included in the tin itself, which I feel like is pretty nice. Of course, you can always remove both of the trays, take the pencils out, put them in a roll. If that's what you would like to do, use the tin for storage of something else. Or you can just pull the pencils out and put them in the tin to make more room to add other pencils to it. Whatever suits your fancy. So what I am going to do is I am going to jump off and I am going to swatch these pencils. I'm not going to swatch them on camera because it's a lot of them. And swatching pencils is takes a lot more time than swatching like paints or watercolors or gouache or whatever. So I'm gonna jump off and I'm gonna swatch, and then we'll come back and do a painting demo. And then after the painting demo, we'll jump into a review. But as I said earlier, it'll be several days stretched over this, because in between the painting demo I do with you guys and doing the review, I'm actually going to do other demos or other paintings in the background just to get a little bit more experience. Because as you know, I like to do swatching plus several paintings with any art product before I offer my 2 cent / opinion on it. All right, so let me go ahead and get these swatched, and the very next thing you will see will be me and you doing a painting demo together. Moving into the illustration, I'm going to be using Canson graduate mixed media paper to illustrate on. I cut it down to be the size of a Polaroid and took some masking tape and taped off the area that would be the actual film or picture part. Took a nail polish sketching. Got the idea from a video I was watching. And it really ran hand in hand with the fact that I've been using Christy Rice's new swatch stamp set, which has like paint spilling out of the tubes or paint spilling off of a brush. And I don't know, I just thought it was really whimsical. I was using those stamp sets to do a crafting project in the background with these pencils. So I just used the pencils to do this illustration of this nail polish bottle. I sketched it out and transferred it onto the paper so I really wouldn't have any harsh lines to deal with. And then went in with the pencil. Now this one is a burgundy tone, got a lot of purple in it. It's really pretty, but there wasn't a lot of bright colors to really choose from, if the truth be told. It's a really cool leaning palette. There's a lot of blues and greens and earth tones and purples and violets, black, couple of grays. There's a silver in the set, but other than maybe 3 or 4 colors, there's not a lot of bright, or should I say, yeah, bright warm colors in the set. So I had to kind of adjust my illustration style going into this, because I do tend to like those really warm, bright colors. But that did not stop the pencils from performing really well. They layered really well. They do hold a pretty decent point. If you get them too sharp, they'll snap. But other than that, I didn't really experience breakage with it. I used a burgundy tone, and then I went in with some black in order to do the opening in the neck where the polish was spilling out, just because that would be shadowed. And then I'm going to actually take the black to go in and add in the shadow area on the bottle, and sort of like reflecting into the nail polish. Now, I did this because I wanted to limit the colors that I was using. I really wanted to give the pencils time to shine and really see the metallic. So instead of using several different colors, I just put that black down and then went back in with that original burgundy tone in order to blend it out, hoping that that would shadow the areas that I needed to shadow. And I think it was pretty effective. I was able to keep everything sharp and precise, which was nice. The pencils are pretty precise like that. It was kind of hard to choose the colors that I really wanted to go into this, because, like I said, all of the colors seem really cool leaning to me anyway. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't warmer tones of the cooler colors, but it's just not, I don't see it being a real bright palette. I also don't really feel like the pencils are as metallic as I was anticipating going into this. I think what I did is I went into this with a preconceived notion of what metallic pencils should look like. Or maybe I'm just not a fan of them, of the metallic pencil itself. But I just didn't see these being metallic. Now, I have some graphite pencils that these remind me of a lot. They're a little bit more shiny. Yeah, so it seems a little shiny, but not necessarily the shine you would get from like a metallic watercolor paint. So maybe that's what I was expecting. Maybe I was expecting that. And because I didn't get it, I was a little disappointed. Not necessarily with the pencils, though, with just the metallic concept of it all, simply because that's what they're named. They work really well as just regular color pencils, though. They layer really well. Yeah, that I wouldn't have any issue with them on that aspect. Actually, I kind of think that whoever Castle Art has manufacturing their pencils, they really take time to research those people, because this is the second pencil set from them that I think is a pretty good pencil with a pretty good lead in it. This one just doesn't do, in my opinion anyway, what it advertises, which is to be metallic. I went in and added some shadow the polish, under the polish bottle, in order to kind of ground it to the picture. Maybe it's sitting on a white table. I just definitely did not want it just kind of floating there in the air. And I think that kind of helped add to it. Now, I'm going to take a black fine liner and I'm going around it in order to kind of block off that part that would be the film or the picture again. And I had to use a hair dryer in order to get that tape to release, because I didn't want it to rip the paper. And I think overall it was pretty effective and it came out pretty well. I'll see you guys after this for the review. This is the result of what we have. Now, my pencil work was a little kind of textured, simply because of that board that I had it taped down to. It's a little textured, so it came out with some texture in the coloring of the illustration. I'll be honest, See, if you tilt it to the light, you can see the metallic in it. However, it's not strong at all. They really almost remind me of like a colored graphite. And I was going to do several of these little Polaroid style drawings. Maybe I'll do one more before we jump into the review. Okay, friends, let's jump into this review and knock this on out the way real quick. So I've had time to kind of work with the pencils over a couple of days, gather my thoughts on the entire situation, and just become more aware of how I think the pencils work. So let's start off. The pencils came in a really nice tin. I think the tin is pretty sturdy. Castle Art has really great branding across all of their products. I think that they are really handsome products. They're not too generic. They're not just over the top and overdone, not until you really get into their gold collection, but their regular branding, I think, is really appealing. This had a really beautiful tiger on the front cover, and on the inside there are instructions on being able to illustrate this. Another thing I like about Castle Art products, I have their 24 count of portrait watercolor pencils. I've already reviewed these. I'll be sure to link it now. It turns out I'm not a portrait artist, as you guys know, but I did find that I was able to use these pencils in a lot of different aspects that I paint, you know, landscapes, still lives, animals, things of that nature. And I just wanted, the reason I pulled this out is because I wanted to pull this to the top so that I can show you, because we're about to get to talking about that in just a second. But this is a set of pencils I recommend. I think this is a really good set of watercolor pencils. And I think Castle Art makes really good pencils overall. And that was one reason I was so torn about my, you know, final feel about these particular pencils. So on the inside of the tin, you have two trays. The two trays are covered with a lot of information, including a swatching sheet, all these brochures and things that we went through in the unboxing. I did do some more reading into here. It's really comprehensive. It goes into a lot of different aspects of using a color pencils, from tinting, shading, blending your colors, just really real dynamic things for someone, I think, who is a beginner. A color chart that kind of reference the colors and how they should look. So there's a lot of learning material in the actual tin, which again, I think kind of target the beginner color pencil user, which is really good in a set, especially considering the fact that this is the complete range of the metallic pencils that are offered. So I think it's a pretty comprehensive little set. Let's just say that. It had this thing covering it. And then, of course, you have two trays of pencils that have strings already attached. Now, this is a playoff of something I've seen being done by many color pencil artists. For years, companies would not attach anything to these little flimsy trays, and we would just use, like, tape on the end to make little hinges. So I think it was really thoughtful that they went ahead and included that. I'm not sure if any of their other color pencil set come that way. I only have this watercolor pencil set other than this one. I do have the 120 count gold edition pencils, but we have not yet gotten around to open those yet, but it is coming soon. You can lift both of the trays out and of course use the tin for other storage. As I said earlier, the tin is really nice. I think it's really good quality, not flimsy at all. The trays, on the other hand, could have been a little bit better, but I think they added the money for making the tray into the little, you know, string pull in order to lift them out. Pencils, the barrels themselves, pretty standard barrel, round, will be prone to rolling. I didn't find any misshapen pencils from the roll test except for one. There was one pencil that was a bit beat up, more so than others. Okay, so let me say this. I'm not sure if the damage to these pencils happened in transport from the factory to Amazon, from Amazon to me. the fact that I may have moved them once, but somewhere along the way, the pencils had to been, you know, kind of jogged around a little bit, because pretty much every pencil in the case had some type of minor damage, like some type of ding or scratch on it. So put that to the side, because it really could have been, like, say, Amazon's fault in transport, could have been my fault in handling it, although you guys did see me open the pencils on screen. A lot of the pencils have damage as far as the paint is concerned. Like, you can see bubbles in the lacquer on a lot of them, and there are a couple of them where the printing on the name or the print on the pencil itself may seem a little worn off, or like it skipped in the printing. So I did have some of that issue. One of the pencils, like I said, came looking pretty beat up. Let me see if I can put my hands on it. Here we go. As you can see, it looked like maybe somebody chewed on it a little bit. Now, this wasn't a used set. It was brand new. You guys saw me open it. As I said on camera, I pulled the plastic off of it. So, yeah, I was a little disappointed at the fact that even if it's minor, you know, I can typically overlook it. But the fact that so many of them had that minor damage, after a while, as I was looking at each one of them and swatching them, I did get a bit disappointed about that, I will have to say. So, again, the dings and the scratches I can kind of overlook, because I'm not sure how those got done. But, like, the bubbling in the paint, the skipping in the printing on some of the words, that part, you know, I really couldn't look past. But it is what it is. So that isn't any indication of how the actual pencil performed. That is something I did want to mention, though, because it is a part of the pencil when you purchase it, a part of the entire experience. Okay, I actually made some notes, and I want to kind of look at them to make sure that I don't miss anything as we're talking about this. We talked about all the good things with the lid and step-by-step instructions, the comprehensive color chart inside the book lid. So you're getting plenty of info. Now, there is no light fast information that I was able to discover, and I did go to the site, but I didn't see any light fast information on those charts either. I'm going to go put that up on the screen, of course, so you guys will be able to see me kind of searching through the things that I was able to discover on that particular site. So the swatch sheets that were included, let me jump back to that part really quickly, are on this really, it's a cardboard. It's not cardboard, but like cardstock. It's not like a sketching paper or a drawing paper or even a colored pencil paper. It's definitely a cardstock. And unfortunately, I don't think it's that great of cardstock. Excuse me, I really wish they had included something else for the swatching. I feel the exact same way about the one that they included in the watercolor pencil set. Although I do like the watercolor pencils a lot, I did not care for the swatching. So I think that's something that Castle Art may want to revisit, putting a better swatch sheet in there. But, you know, that again doesn't have anything to do with the actual performance of the pencils. However, if someone just swatches and only decides to use the pencils on this, I don't think they're going to get the best experience. It didn't give me the greatest layering experience. And then at some point, it just stopped taking the pencil altogether. But I did get the swatching done. And we'll talk about that in just a second. I did want to bring that up about those particular swatch sheets. Now, although there was some damage to the barrels are pretty handsome. I do like the tri-tone colors. I did not see that there was any cracking in the actual wood around the lid, which was a really good thing. Now, the pencils are domed, so you was not able to see right off whether or not the lid was centered. But from sharpening, I'm able to tell you that I feel like the lids in these pencils are pretty centered. I didn't find any that seem to miss-sharpen. So they do sharpen really well, and they will come to a really fine point. However, I did find that the sharper the point, the quicker the lid will break. Now, they are not like fragile by any means. We start talking about the lid of the pencil. Let's start off with the fact that they are really soft. You know, not as soft as a Prismacolor, but they were some pretty soft pencils to be a metallic pencil, which I think these are wax based with metallic in it. I'm not exactly sure of the formula. I'm just kind of guessing there. But there are some nice pigment payoff from the pencils. Not a lot of pressure to get the color to come release and just kind of glide onto the tooth of the paper. I found that to be pretty enjoyable experience. I swatched them on black paper as well, just so I can get a better idea of how they will perform on different types of paper, especially colored paper, since they're metallic pencils, and I've seen them used more so in that particular aspect of fine arts, where they've been used on like black paper and tone gray paper, tone green paper, because it enhances the opacity and the metallic payoff of the pencils. Well, in this case, or in this set of pencils, it definitely enhanced the opacity, and you can see that it did give you a bit of a sheen. Here's the thing. I feel like I was using more colored graphite than I was using like a metallic pencil. Overall, I feel like the pencil is good, really balanced, easy to hold, comfortable, no aches or pains with my hands or anything of that nature. And I think that the pigment payoff is good. I just don't feel like they were really like that metallic, especially when you look at them like here on the white paper, which is what I use most. I think they're a beautiful colors. And if you tilt it, you can see a bit of a sheen, a bit of a shine in them. But I don't think that they are just so metallic that they just jump out in your face like that. They just didn't give me that, not even in the little demonstrations that I did. So let's get to looking at some of the testing here. So I did a smudge test on the pencils, and of course they will smudge, but I did have to use a relatively hard pressure to get that stretch out that much. They didn't really move too much as my hand kind of laid down. As you can see, I'm kind of moving over that image there, and they don't really move. I was able to blend them down with spirits, but like Gamsol, but I felt like they did more lifting than actually blending the pencil down, which I found kind of disappointing, because I know a lot of color pencil artists do use Gamsol or odorless mineral spirits in order to blend their pencils. So that was definitely something to note. Ironically enough, they moved a little bit in water, not nearly as much as like a watercolor pencil or a water soluble pencil, but they did blend just a little bit. Next, I tried alcohol blender, a colorless blender. And in this case, I feel like they blended, and I feel like that worked better than like the odorless spirits did. I was able to blend it down, and that'll actually help you add more on top of that layer, releasing more tooth. And I was also able to drag some of that color out with the alcohol marker. So they definitely worked in alcohol. But ironically enough, what I found them to blend the best with was baby oil. I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but it blended down so smooth with baby oil. And of course, it moves the color as well. It moves the color quite a lot. Now, when using baby oil on colored pencils, I would definitely suggest that you do not do that until you're finishing up your composition. You need to put down all of your pencil color, then blend with the baby oil, because you can't really go back and put any more colored pencil on top of something that you've blended out with baby oil. Well, at least not in my experience. And if you've had a different experience, please jump in the comment section and let me know. But in my experience, I've never found that I was able to add additional pigment to a colored pencil piece after I've used baby oil to do blending. All right, so I waited so that we would be together in order to do the erase test. Now, I did test the erasing of the pencils as I was using them in compositions, and I found that, you know, in light layers, they erase pretty well. But I wanted to wait and let you guys see how they erase. And that is pretty heavy pigment. I put down several layers of pigment there. And as you can see, even with all those layers, it's erasing back to where you'll be able to see white paper. So I think for all intents and purposes, the pencils erase rather great, you know. especially if you catch it in the really early stages. Then we did a layering test here. I got up to 8 layers before this particular paper would not take any more color. But I did find in some of the artwork that I was doing that I was able to constantly layer, which goes back to me saying earlier, they actually layer really well. But you can see the transition in color. And I did not have to use a lot of pressure until I got over to, say, around 8, layer 8. Then I had to start, using varnishing pressure. But I was able to build layer 1 through 6 at least with just moderate pressure. Definitely did not hurt my hand at all. Here, these are just a couple of images that I colored with the pencil just to kind of get a preliminary feel for them. And I actually did this before I jumped into the demo that we did on camera today. Now, these are 2 of the stamps from the Christy Rice swatching stamp set. I'm using it a lot in so many different projects, crafting and art stuff. I'm having a blast with them. And I felt like they just kind of would give me a really good way to swatch the pencils again, but to color a composition and start to get a really good feel for the pencils. And even on this really economical paper, this is mixed media, U-Trake mixed media paper, super economical. Picked it up from Walmart, and it actually works really well for colored pencils. And I feel like these pencils worked really well, really beautifully. I was able to blend more than one color together. I was able to layer 3 or 4 layers in the different areas where I was adding shadow. And it gave me a good preliminary run. So after that, of course, we did the composition on camera today, and I've already gone ahead and encased this inside plastic. I used the lamination folder just because I wanted to give it more of that whole Polaroid feel. I think it turned out really nicely, in all honesty. Again, I love the color payoff and the saturation of the pencils. I think in that arena, they are wonderful. However, if you guys remember, right after I did this, there was a clip where I said I really could not see the metallic sheen a lot. I had to do a lot of tilting and twisting. I did find, however, that once I encased it in a lamination folder, for some reason, it seemed to make that metallic sheen and shine stand out so much more. And I think it just enhanced and added so much to it. And I really love this little Polaroid idea. I think I'm going to run with this. I have a couple of other directions I would like to, try with this whole Polaroid film. So, be prepared to see some Polaroid things coming up. But here, as you guys remember, I'm telling you, they layered really well. I was able to use that black to get in there and add some depth to those shadows. I used a white pencil, a regular white color pencil, a color soft, and in order to add the secondary highlights, I went back in with some white bleed proof, which is a gouache, which mixed really well, in order to add my major highlights. As you can see, we got dual tone color up around the neck of the bottle. Just really nice colored experience. I just do not feel like they were that metallic until I added the plastic to it. So off camera, I know I said I wasn't going to, but off camera I did anyway. I went ahead and did another project. I have a crafting project coming up that I'm going to be using these for. But basically what I did was I just stamped some of Christie's swatching stamps out on a piece of white cardstock. I took the pencils and I just kind of went to town, blending in different colors, trying to see the different type of color saturation and payoff I could get from actually layering the same color on top of itself as we do with colored pencils. And I was also curious to see whether or not that would actually make the pencil stand out more with a metallic sheen. Unfortunately, it didn't. However, if you tip them, they will have a bit of a sheen to them. That was the only thing that's really disappointing. Overall, pretty decent set of pencils. I didn't find anything to really complain about as far as they went. I mean, as I said, I do hate the fact that the cosmetic state of the pencils was not that great, but it didn't affect the color payoff at all. It didn't affect the saturation at all. I just don't think that they were that metallic. Yeah. So the 48 piece, as I said earlier, is the complete range. You can currently get them on Amazon for $39.99, which $40, 48 pencils, budget grade, supposed to be metallic, don't have that much of a metallic feel of sheen to it. I would much rather use my metallic watercolor paints. Yeah, I don't know if for me they would have been worth it. These were a gift, and I really appreciate them as a gift from the person who gifted them to me. I'm going to put them to good use. I feel like they're going to work well on craft projects, as you can see, you know, things of that nature. But like doing entire compositions with them, I don't think it's something that I would necessarily set out to do unless it's something really small, like this little Polaroid snapshot that we did in the video today. Do I recommend the pencils? I mean, I would say it really just depends on whether you are in the position to spend $40 on a pencil that's called a metallic pencil. That's not really that metallic. This is a student grade set of pencils without a doubt. And if I had to give them a rating on a scale of 1 to 5 stars, I would give them 4 stars. I do feel like they are that nice of a color pencil. Just don't think that they are a great metallic color pencil. So guys, and there you have it. Hopefully you saw, picked up on something throughout this entire video, the unboxing, the demo, the review, that you found helpful, information that you feel like will help you make a decision whether or not you want to add this collection of pencils to your painting arsenal. If so, please give the video a thumbs up. Keep in mind that's going to help push it in front of other people. Feel free to share if you're in the mood. Sharing is caring, and that too will push it in front of other people. Guys, jump in the comment section. Let me know. Have you used these pencils? What do you think about their metallic payoff? I mean, I personally think that they're a great color pencil, but what do you feel about them being a metallic color pencil? I mean, maybe I just don't have enough experience with metallic color pencils to know. I just don't feel like these were that metallic. So let me know what you think in the comment section. I would love to hear you guys' thoughts on it. Please check the video description for all relevant links, ways that you can support the channel, the most recommended product list, as well as the link for paints, pencils, pastels, and markers, the Thrifty Apprentice sponsored Facebook group, where we do all things artsy and crafty, and all artists and crafters are welcome. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. I will see you back here next time. And remember, as I tell you at the end of every video now, with the new logo and the new slogan, just keep creating.